All right, what's up guys? Vivi back with another video. And in today's video, guys, we've got a pretty chill, lighthearted video lined up for today. We're going to be all over the place. Okay, guys, we're going to be looking at a bunch of different leaders on the sim. We're going to be checking out a tier list from the East. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me just break down today's video for everyone so we can just dive straight into this. First things first, we are going to be heading over to the lab. Okay, we have a game of Purple Yellow Pudding versus Lucci. That should be pretty interesting. Probably some interesting stuff we can take from that game and learn from it. After that, we're going to be heading over to, we're going to be staying on YouTube where I'm reviewing the video, but we're also going to be heading over to YouTube to someone from the East, a YouTuber from the East, a very big channel that put out a tier list for OP09. And then after that, we're going to head over to OnePieceTopDecks.com and we're going to check out the first and second place list for the tournament that happened last night or this morning, depending on where you live, over in OP09 over in the East. Okay, so we'll check that out. We got a lot to talk about there. And then we're going to head over to the sim, and I've got 3 games lined up for us, guys, and we're going to be going green today, okay? I got 3 different green leaders to check out. Green, yellow, Arlong, green, blue, Zonji, and mono, green, Kuro, okay? You know, nothing crazy, not a deep dive or anything, just going to be having a little bit of fun on the sim with those leaders. Okay, and then after that, we will break down those deck lists and all that good stuff, and we'll talk about it, and we'll wrap up the video in that way. Okay, guys. So, very chill video today, very all over the place, very lighthearted. I will have everything time-stamped down in the general description, and I will have all relevant deck lists and links down in the comment section below. Okay, guys. All right, you know what you're getting into. Let's do this. First things first, here we go, guys. We got a game on the, from the lab. So for any of the new listeners out there, what is the VV lab? Well, at the beginning of each one of my videos, I try to include this portion where we go over games that have been submitted by the community, okay? Players who watch my YouTube, players who are on the Discord, they will record their games and send them to me on Discord, okay? If you're interested in me reviewing one of your games, because what it ends up being is me kind of like walking through the game, commentating over it, and kind of giving my advice for what I would do in certain situations, and kind of grading plays based on my knowledge of the game, just kind of tell you what I think about it. It's more geared for the newer players or like intermediate level players, but hey, if you want to submit a game, I don't care if you're a pro, I don't care if you're a new player, it doesn't matter to me. I'll tell you what I think of it, okay? And if you're interested in me reviewing one of your games, very easy. All you have to do is record your game, upload it to YouTube, hop on the VV Theory Discord, which the link is in the channel description. Hop on the Discord, and I have a channel called Review My Game, or a little channel called Review My Game on the Discord. And you post the link in there to the YouTube, and then as soon as I see it, I give you the thumbs up, and whenever it's your turn in line, you're up. Okay, so it's that simple. If you have any questions on that, please do not hesitate to ask down in the comment section below. All right, now let's get into this game, guys. This should be a lot of fun. Purple Yellow Pudding versus Lucci. Okay, so the volume is off. The speed is on 2x. Quality's all the way up. And here we go, guys. So real quick, I always like to try to see who goes first. And it looks like Lucci has taken first from the pudding. And that is a very, you do typically want to take away first from pudding, because they can get to a turn 4 Tinlin going first if they get the right curve for it. But here we go. So playing, this is, okay, very fast game so far. Very, very fast game so far. But very textbook, nothing too crazy. So the Lucci went first. They play out a Spandam, and then they pass the turn. Turn 1 for the, what's her name, for Pudding, they have no turn 1, so they pass the turn back. Turn 2 for Lucci, swing for 5 with Spandam, swing for 5 with Leader, your turn. Not developing any bodies, literally just trying to be aggressive here and really start attacking the Purple Yellow Pudding. And I don't know if that's the right call, by the way. I mean, you can't just be totally complacent and not do anything. But I think at the same time, I think developing your board in this situation is probably your best bet. Just keep developing a board and go about things that way. Now, for the Pudding here, they have played out a Mr. 2 Boncray Bentham, and they've attached a Dawn, the Dawn that they ramped for the turn, to the Purple Yellow Pudding, and now they're going to be swinging for 6, probably into the leader. Revealing their top cards, ramping a Dawn. Okay, so very, very straightforward game. It's going fast, and that's because it's just, there's not a whole lot to talk about just yet, and there's not a whole lot to think about for either player just yet. Okay, they're gonna let the purple yellow pudding player have that Mr. 2 Boncray Bentham for now, because what character is it going to copy the power of, right? Like, you going to copy the power of the Spandam? I don't think so. So really not too bad. Let me pause. A lot of people who play Lucci are stuck on the idea of you have to remove every single character every single turn, which is not the worst plan in the world. I mean, hey, if you have the option, why not do it, right? But in this situation, I think it would have really been a waste. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Because look at these cards in the pudding player's hands. Okay, we've got some big 9-cost characters coming. Okay, let's see what happens here. So we are on an 8 Dawn turn for the purple-yellow pudding. Let's see what they choose to do. Swing for 7 at leader. They can't use their leader effect again because they have their Dawn... Or, excuse me, pause, hang on. They have their top 2 life cards already revealed, so they can't reveal 2 life cards. But they're still going to play out the Miss All Sunday to draw a card and ramp a Dawn. They were already on 8 Dawn, so it didn't matter ramping, but drawing a card is nice and developing a 5-cost body. 5 cost is a very annoying cost to deal with for Lucci. They can deal with it, but it's very annoying. Okay, so they get rid of the Mr. 2 Boncray Bentham with the... Okay, this game is going very fast. So they get rid of the the Mr. 2 Boncray Bentham with Jack by swinging for 5 with the leader, -1 to it, playing out the Jack, cycling a card, and now they have a huge body on the board that is technically 11 cost when it comes to removal. And now they're going to swing for 5 into the Lucci. I think they're probably just going to counter out of this, and then we have a 10 Dawn follow-up with 10 Lin. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, swinging for 5, Spandam to counter out, swing for 5 more, counter out, and play out the 10 Mom. Now, one thing I will say, some people might be thinking, like, well, what if they had decided to save the attack from Miss All Sunday? Against any deck that's running black, I would not recommend trying to save your characters for a later attack, because currently, at least at the time of me recording this, you know, in the game of One Piece TCG, black can remove characters on the board just every turn very consistently. So if your character does not have some form of protection, like some type of evasion, then I would swing with it as soon as you can, because it might not be there next turn for you to cash in the value on it, okay? All right, so here we go. Let's see what happens. And of course, it always depends on the situation, guys. Don't take that as like 100%. It always depends on the situation. Okay, Tempest Kick on the 10 Lin. They're going to drop him down to 3, or drop him down by 3, drop him down by another 3 with Helmeppo. They're going to need to swing with the Lucci. Okay, they have 5 Dawn left. Pause. So they're telegraphing their play, right? So they're swinging for 6 into the Miss All Sunday, reducing the cost of the 10 Lin down to 3. Okay, they've done it by -7 altogether. 2 from Helmeppo, 3 from Helmeppo, 3 from the Tempest Kick, and now 1 from the leader attack. They're swinging for 6 into 5. They're going to be able to pop the 10 Lin with their Jack now, and what's going to happen is they have 5 Dawn left for the turn. And if I had to guess, it's probably going to be a Sabo, right? We'll have to see what happens, and I do not pre-watch these games, but just going by what they're telegraphing on the board here, they're probably going to drop a Sabo as their follow-up. Okay, and they're looking at the Dawn. The pudding player looked at the Dawn, and they see what's going on here. Saving this, yeah, I mean, I think saving it was fine. They go ahead and pop that with the Jack. They play out the Sabo. Yeah, that's just a very expectable, you know, turn for the Sabo, or for the Lucci player. Okay, well, right here, guess what? This 9-cost Lin doesn't really care about Sabo cannot be KO'd. He's just going to push the blocker back to life. I like that a lot. We're going to swing for 5. We're going to swing for 6. I really like that. So it looks like they're going to 1K or maybe 2K counter out of this. I would take this first hit if I were the Lucci player and then counter out of the next one. Yeah, now they can 2K counter out, and that should... yeah, so why did I know that was going to happen? So typically speaking, you're going to counter out of 1 attack in that situation, just because of the amount of cards you want in your hand for options, and just because of how much life he has available to him as a resource. So he's going to take 1 of the hits. The first attack was going to come in for 5, and then he had 1 Dawn left, so you could swing for 6 with a leader as the follow-up attack. Okay, well, take the first hit, because you might get a 2K counter from there you'd rather use over the cards in your hand. So you have to really, you know, premeditate your decisions there, anticipate what you're going to need to do. Okay, swing for 5 into 5 here. Yep, let it go. Just let that card go. They're going to Tempest Kick, -4. Okay, and now let's see what happens. So they play out the Gecko, pulling out a Rebecca, and what else is in their trash? I don't actually know what's in their trash. They're going to pull out a Helmeppo, -3. They can easily pop that now with the Jack, and we're in a tough spot. Guys, we're in a tough spot right now as as Purple Yellow Pudding. Okay, going to play out the 9 Lin, trashing a card, pushing the Rebecca back to life. Okay. So that was the situation. Let me say something real quick. I don't know what is in the trash of the Lucci player, but I might have just not even given them a life. I would have maybe just not even given them a life here, because now if I'm Lucci, I'm taking this hit gladly because I'm still on 3 life. Now, it is true that the Purple-Yellow Linlin player, or the Purple-Yellow Pudding player has 6 life. So they're not at any jeopardy of losing the game next turn. But at the same time, you know, I don't know if I would have given them the Rebecca. Just let him block with it if that's what he was going to do this turn, you know, for this attack. But here we go. Let's see what happens. Not a play mistake. Again, not a play mistake. I'm just saying that I would have just... Don't give them life, you know. Even attack for 5 first to see what they do. Okay, so here we go. Going to swing in here. They're swinging in with some attacks. We're taking them. Playing out the Zonji is dangerous. I will say that. It is dangerous. But hey, we do have to get some pressure going, and we have 2 more Zonjis coming from life. That's the crazy part. So they, sorry guys, I did miss that. They were able to minus something to the cost of the 9-cost Linlin. They removed it with the Jack. Very easy. Every single time they're going to remove a character. Every single turn they're going to remove a character. Okay, 10 Lin off the top. So I would attack first. Yeah, I would attack in first here. I would definitely be, yeah, very, okay, so. Remember what I was saying before, how I think you should attack as much as possible with your characters on the board because they might not be there? Not so much the case in this situation, okay? Already running that comment back. Like I said, it's very situational. But in this situation, it is very hard to remove a 10-cost character from the board, even for black. So it's going to take them a lot of their turn to get rid of the character. So if they get rid of that character, it will be much less likely that they can get rid of the Zonji. So in this situation, I think it was very smart to not attack. Okay, they're going to swing it for 9. We take it. We get no trigger that's relevant. Okay, that time we got a trigger. We're going to be able to do a top 5 search. Going to grab the pudding. We're searching for more big moms. I just know it. That's the way to go. Swinging for 5. I would probably give them a 1K here. Yeah, I would definitely do that. Okay, and now? So very interesting. I wish I knew what was in the Lucci player's hands. Okay, they have an Ice Age. So they do have an Ice Age, but they're going to need one more form of cost reduction. Okay, and they have a Helmeppo. They always have it, right? They always have it. Very nice. And now they're going to remove it with the Jack. Guys, that Jack's value this game has been astronomical. Just absolutely incredible. Whoa, swinging in for 7. Swinging in for 7 with Rebecca. This is ill-advised because now you're going to give him access to another attacker, and you're not going to have a blocker anymore. So this might have been a play mistake from the Lucci player. Let's see what happens here. I would take this, and I trigger it. Absolutely, that would be my play here. And hey, I don't know how well we're going to do here. Okay, that's very nice. Well, are we going to be able to survive here? That's my question. We have 9 Dawn. Wait, when did we get that 9-cost Linlin? Okay, we searched it up. Very good. We searched up with the whatever the name is, the pudding. So right here, I think it is time to maybe, I think face might be the place, guys. I think face is the place. And then push a card back and develop the 9-cost body. Yep, okay. Push this out of the way. You could also push back the Helmeppo and get rid of the Rebecca. That was another option. But hey, we've got 2 bodies. So here's my concern right here. My concern in this situation is that they have a Lucci. Because I don't think well, there's a Lucci in their trash we can see right now. Wait a minute. How many cards are in the deck of the Lucci player? The deck is looking very thin, guys. Can y'all tell by the graphic? It's kind of hard to tell, but there are not many cards in the deck of the Lucci player. But let's see what happens here. They're going to swing for 5, trash 2 cards, and I would block with that. Yeah, so what I was going to say is if they have 1 card left in their deck, guys. They have 1 card left in the Lucci player's deck. Hang on a second. Did I see that correctly? Okay, right. Let's see. Yeah, there is 1 card left in their deck. So hear me out real quick. What kind of game would it be if he survives right here? Yes. Yeah, so all that we have to do as the Lucci player is play out a Lucci. And then you can return 3 cards to the bottom of your deck or anything like that. And then develop a blocker, and you can probably win on the next turn after attacking through. But the Purple-Yellow Pudding player is in full-on survival mode because if they just survive this turn, they can pass the turn and win the game. So let's see what happens here. -4, and they just give up. So I'm not sure why. Did I miss something, or did they Tempest kick? What just happened? I'm sorry, guys. What just happened? I'm so confused. Did they use Jack? Guys, that... so they used Jack to KO your blocker to go win the game, right? But they only had one card left in their library. That was incredible. They had one card left in their deck. All they had to do was play out a Spandine into a Lucci right here. For just 3 Dawn invested, they could have put 6 cards on the bottom of their deck and been completely fine with that play. But guys, as soon as your deck hits 0, you lose on the spot. Just like with Nami, you win on the spot if your deck hits 0. Any other deck, if they hit 0 cards in their deck, they lose right then and there, no matter what was happening in the turn. So, guys, that was too crazy. I don't know if I've ever seen that in One Piece. I'm not saying it's never happened before, but I don't think I've ever seen that. So that was an incredible game. Let's talk about what was going to happen this game, though. So right here, they were trying, if they had done everything properly and not lost anything, because think about it, they didn't even have to use the Jack. They could have just used the Spandine to pull out the Lucci to KO the Zonji, and then they could have swung with the Jack trying to go for lethal, or, you know, going about things in a little bit different way. But guys, that was too funny, because what would have happened then is it would have been swing 9, and they had a Tempest Kick. So they could have gotten rid of the other Sanji as well, guys. They could have, so it would have been, all right, so let's just play out the turn here for what the Lucci player should have done. So 10 Dawn turn, let's go back to the beginning of this turn here. Let's see what they did with the first Dawn. So swinging for 5, I like that because there's no cards in their hand. There is no cards in the hand of the the purple yellow pudding player. Now right here they have 1 card left. Here they should have played out the Spandine into Lucci combo to get 6 cards on the bottom of their deck. Use the Ice Age first, that's fine, and then fill out the bottom of the deck, KOing this Sanji with the Lucci. Get rid of the pudding too. That's fine, whatever. Then they still have 3 attacks left, right? So swing for 9, swing for 9. They're gonna play out the Sanji, and then you could just pop that, you know, with your Jack and pass the turn, and you're pretty much at no jeopardy of losing the game. So real quick, let's talk about the accuracy meter. This was an absolute blunder by the Lucci player, a game-losing, or a missed win. Okay, like you see right above blunder on the chart over here on the right. That was a missed win because they blundered into a literal on-the-spot you lose. But that was a really good game. Great submission, whoever this was. Thank you so much for submitting this. It is so rare that you see this situation where someone actually decks out in a game, because for some reason, you guys tell me what y'all think about this, Lucci is made in such a way that he can't deck out as long as you understand there's only 1 card left in your deck. You know what I mean? There's pretty much no way to deck out because you can just keep going Spandines into Lucci's, and with those you can keep getting Lucci's and Rebecca's into the bottom of your deck. So it's just an infinite loop. You never run out of cards. And I'm not saying that's how it should be. I'm just telling you that's how it is, right? Especially if you include Gecko Moria into that. There's so many things you can do because, guys, Lucci allows you to put any cards on the bottom of your deck, but I think Spandine only searches for CP cards. But no problem. Grab the Lucci's, grab the Tempest Kicks, and now you just have like this perfect infinite loop at the bottom of your deck. I don't agree with that type of decision by what are they called? By Bandai. I don't know if they took that into account, if that was planned or not, but I actually think that should be part of the risk of playing Lucci is, hey, if you keep trashing cards, like, yes, you'll have access to more tools, but you're also running the risk of decking out, which is what happened in this game. However, like I said, they have so many safeguards against that. I'm not a huge fan, to be honest. I actually wish it was like that, where it's like, okay, you have to really pick and choose your cost reduction properly here and your mill effects, because you could lose the game from it. But anyway, that's just a rant for another day, and I'm not trying to complain. I'm just saying I think that would have been a really cool dynamic, where it's kind of like, okay, you know, it's a double-edged sword. And in this case, it proved out to be. So really cool stuff there. Okay, that was awesome. That was a good game. Let me get set up real quick, guys. Y'all give me just a moment to get set up, because we got to check out some a tier list now. A tier list from the East. Okay, let me go full screen with it. And here we go, guys. Let me move. This will help if I move this for y'all. All right, here we go. So I will post this video link in the comment section below for those who want to watch it, because it does have, like, you know, it is in Japanese, but you can turn on the closed caption, like down here. My head's blocking it right now, but there's a closed caption where you can turn on you know, you can read what they're saying in English. Okay, really good stuff. Now, anyway, check out this tier list, guys. I think there's about 28 decks on here. Let me see. 5, 10, 15, 20, plus 8. Yeah, 28 decks on here that they're showing in the top 4, you know, or in the tier 1, 2, 3, and 4 as like being competitive viable. Competitive viable is definitely a loose interpretation. Don't quote me on it, but that's kind of the idea, I think. First, let's talk about top 5. Okay, on tier 1, those top 5 decks are Shanks, Blue Dofi, Purple Luffy, Lucci, and Black Yellow Luffy. Okay, I have to say that is a very attractive color range for tier 1 decks in OP09 currently in the East. There's a red deck represented, a blue deck, a purple deck, a black deck, and then a yellow deck if you think about it. Because, guys, yes, I understand Black Yellow Luffy is running some black cards like Sabo and Gecko. I get it. But that is a majority yellow deck. And if you really don't like that deck, if you go down one tier to tier 2, Enel is dead center of the pack. And even in tier 3, then you get into a lot of other yellow decks like yellow-purple Pudding, Nika Robin, green-yellow Yamato, and yellow Katakuri. Even down in tier 4, you have red-yellow Bella Betty. So the only color that's technically not really super well represented in tier 1 at all would be green. But again, go down just a single tier and check it out. Bonnie, middle of the pack in tier 2. Bonnie's doing very well, but it's a little bit under what we see at the top, I think, currently over in the East. And again, there are some other green decks that are scattered around here. We have green-yellow Yamato, like I said earlier, red-green Trafalgar Law in Tier 3, guys, still from OP0. What was that, OP02? Or was that OP01? I think I think that leads from OP01, guys, way back. And then Perona, green-black Perona down in Tier 4. So every color is seeing some pretty decent representation. I'm not saying that any of these decks can win a tournament, and I don't know about any of it, right, because we're not in OP09 currently over here in the West. But it looks like this is a pretty decent spread, guys. And look at the tier 1 decks. All of those decks are competitive. Like every single one of those decks are competitive. I'll take that. That looks like a very, very healthy meta where there's a red deck, blue deck, purple deck, black deck, yellow deck. And then green deck is just one tier down, still very competitive, just not considered top tier. Blackbeard at tier 2. Let's talk about that in a minute, okay, guys? Remember, tier 2, they have Blackbeard. After this, I'll give a spoiler warning, but after we check out the tier list here, after we finish up, we're going to check out over on OnePieceTopDecks.com. We're going to be checking out first place and second place at the most recent big regional style tournament over in Japan that happened last night or this morning, depending on where you lived. Okay, so Blackbeard tier 2, maybe it might need to be tier 1. We'll see that. We'll talk about that later. And of course, you guys tell me what y'all think in the comment section below on any of this stuff. Purple Black Luffy. Okay, people are calling him Peanut Butter Luffy. Purple Black Luffy, tier 2. And guys, that's one of the decks that I will say it suffers ever so slightly from consistency. If you can always get the curve going turn 2 with the new 3-cost Zoro where it returns 2 Dawn to ramp a Dawn and then use your leader to ramp 2 Dawn, if it can do that consistently, that deck is very powerful. Because it even goes into the late game with the 10-cost Luffy and goes, okay, I'm going to get an extra turn. I hope he can survive. So that leader has a lot of promise. It looks very promising. Okay, Bonnie, just a very solid, consistent deck. Enel, very solid, consistent deck. Red-Purple Luffy. Okay, got to give a shout-out to my guy Mike, one of my buddies at Locals. He's a good friend of mine. He's looking very forward to that deck, okay? Not going to spoil anything, but I think that leader, very strong. I'm not going to say it's underexplored because there are some die-hard Red-Purple Luffy fans, even in the Discord channel. On the VV Theory Discord channel. Big shout-out to Kane as well. He has a whole channel dedicated to that. Gear 5 Productions. I'll link him down in the comment section below as well. But yeah, that leader looks like it's getting some pretty decent love in OP09. Some of that new red hair pirate stuff just looks really strong, guys. That's all I'm going to say. Now, moving over, another blue deck. Okay, if you're worried, like if you don't like Doflamingo, don't worry. 2 blue decks for you right here. Nami and Buggy. An absolute match made in heaven right by each other there, right? But no, seriously. Buggy's serious now, guys. Ever since it gets the promo, there's a promo that's coming out. It's very important for its matchup into Doflamingo. But now that promo is legal, well, at least in the East it is, Buggy is a serious contender, okay? He is actually very, very strong. He's no joke. Nami is not a joke. Hasn't been for a long time. I know a lot of people don't like the Nami matchup, but guess what? That deck is here to stay. That is a very, very strong deck. Smoker in Tier 2. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't think Smoker's bad, but I probably would have had it in Tier 3. But hey, Smoker in Tier 2, if that's what they're saying in the East, they, if the people in the East know more about the East than I do. I'm not playing over there, right? I do play OP09 on the sim, but I don't play over in the tournaments over in the East. Vegapunk they have over there. Excuse me, guys, my allergies. They have Vegapunk over there. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Someone even asked me in the Discord, and that they were kind of asking me like, what are my thoughts of Vegapunk versus Enel? Really cool person on my Discord there, being super nice, super chill about it. And I'm like, dude, I don't even know how to answer this other than very brashly. There's no way I would play Vegapunk over Enel. I just think Enel's just better. And it's nothing against Vegapunk. I think that deck is still just a little too gimmicky, even though, hey, we've seen it do well in tournaments in the East. I get it. I understand. It just needs something more, I think, in order for me to consider like up in this top tier 2, like where they have it. But notice how they have it detached a little bit, like they have it a little bit detached from the actual packet Tier 2. I think what they're trying to say is with the right matchups, this is easily a Tier 2 leader. I could be wrong. You'll have to watch the video if you want to know what it really is. I'm not sure. Okay, so Tier 3 and 4 I'm not going to talk too much about. I'm just going to like go over it real quickly. The 2 purple-yellow decks in the front there, I think they're solid. Nico Robin, I don't think they figured out Nico Robin yet. I haven't either. I'm not saying I have, but I do not think purple-yellow Nico Robin has been figured out. I think that deck could be much better than where it's at. I think that could sneak into Tier 2. I'm not saying Tier 1, but Tier 2 I think it can easily sneak into there potentially in the near future. Same thing with green-yellow Yamato. Guys, I've been building almost any yellow deck. Like lately, I've been building most yellow decks, just super heavy trigger decks that just go super fast, super aggressive, and that might be the way to go. However, I'm sure there are other ways to build it, and I'm not sure how they're building it in the East, and who knows. We'll have to see what happens from there. Boa, doing fine at Tier 3. It's just, I think the problem with Boa is if you're going to play blue, why not play Doflamingo? It falls under that, the age-old question of, hey, if there's 2 decks that are the same color and one is just distinctly better than the other or like drastically better than the other, then why would you ever play the inferior one, right? And I think that's what's going on with Boa. I'm sorry, I know, guys. I know a lot of people love Boa. I think the leader's really cool. But I think Boa needs more specifically Boa support, or else Doflamingo's just going to take all the toys that it gets and go about it that way. But either way, I think Boa's still a good deck. Okay, Reiju. Reiju is just incredible. It is extremely, extremely tough to beat that deck. With a good pilot and everything, I think that deck... I've been ranting and raving about Reiju for a long time now, especially since Red Purple Law is gone. This deck is just... It's gas. It's straight gas. So anyway, very strong. Red Green Law, we know how good that deck is. Red Black Garp, that's kind of interesting. They have that on the up in Tier 3. I'm not going to say anything. They must know what's going on over there in the East better than I do. Foxy, I do understand Foxy, though. Foxy is locking down leaders like Doflamingo. It's locking down leaders like Black Yellow Luffy. And it's saying, hey, I'm going to go board wide. I'm going to have power reduction built in. It's going to be a nightmare, right? So I do understand the Foxy being up in Tier 3. I do. Katakuri down to Tier 3 makes me sad because I feel like that leader is a little stronger than what a lot of people give it credit for. And it comes very close to the same conversation as we were saying with Dofi and Boa, where it's like, why run Katakuri when Enel's a little more sound currently? It's a little more consistent. Tier 4, we got Sanji, Marco, Perona, Zoro, Bello Betty, and they forgot Red Yellow Sabo. This person forgot Red Yellow Sabo on their list, but that's okay. We'll let it slide. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, I can't believe it. It is what it is. Again, I can't make people play what I want them to. I wish more people would try Red Yellow Sabo, especially with the new OP09 support. Again, I don't know what they're building over there, but apparently whatever it is way down in the Tier 5 category. But hey, it is what it is. That's a topic. That's a rant for another day. Okay? All right, really good stuff here. Now, hang on tight, guys. We're going to head over to OnePieceTopDecks.com, and we're going to check out 2 decks in particular here from Miyagi. So see this first place Lucci list? If I'm not mistaken, I could be a little bit off on this, but I believe these are the first place decks from the big Bandai tournament that happened like 8 to 10 hours ago. I can't remember exactly. Okay, at the time of recording this at least, right? And Blackbeard got second place, and then Lucci beat Blackbeard in the finals. I did watch that, and I will link the tournament down in the comment section below. Okay, in fact, I'll try to timestamp it for the last match. But it was Lucci versus Blackbeard. Sorry for the spoilers, guys, but here it is. This has been posted for a while now. Let's check out the Blackbeard list, then we'll check out the Lucci list. I'm not going to do a full breakdown, okay, guys? Understand that I'm not doing a full breakdown, but pause and or head over to OnePieceTopDecks.com and check it out there if you really want to break it down and analyze it. But here's the list they were running. Let me make sure. Yeah, 51 cards. And check this out. They're running 6 4-cost event KO cards. This pops a 4 or less. Only 2 of these, but it is searchable by Blackbeard Pirates. And then Finger Gun or Shigan Finger Pistol pops a 5 or less and mills 2 cards from the top. This one is just a little bit better for what they're trying to do with Blackbeard, filling up their trash so that Burgess here can actually be very, very strong very, very quickly. It's running the 4 Laboons and the 4, I think it's running, is it running, yeah, 4 Van Augur. So it has a lot of cost reduction built in and then ways to KO based off of cost with Jack. And I think they're also running Doc Q. Yeah, here it is. Okay, really good stuff here. Really good stuff. They are running 2 Vasco Shot, which was surprising to me. I understand this is just a utility blocker and it's searchable. I get it. It's just when I was putting together a Blackbeard list, I'm not saying mine was good or anything. It was very hard to find space in the deck. But hey, running 2 of these probably was able to win him certain games against decks that don't have a lot of removal. Who knows? Very good stuff there. Running 3 of the Searcher stage. Really powerful effect here because remember, guys, in Blackbeard or Marshall D Teach, in Teach, like you're trying to fill up your trash as much as possible. So trashing a card to do a top 3 search for another card that's potentially better, it's making this Burgess card here even stronger. And guys, this is a 4-cost, 5,000 power character with 1k counter, searchable by Blackbeard, and it cannot be KO'd by your opponent's effects. So that is very annoying to deal with, right? So that's why, you know, you're going to want to use cards like This Is My Era, where they're doing a top 3 search. This is basically brand new on an event, right? You put the rest of the cards in your trash. Okay, you do a top 3 search for a Blackbeard Pirates, put the rest in your trash. Now, this stage does a top 3 search and puts the rest in the bottom of your deck in any order, but still, you're trashing a card to use the effect. Liberation is good, but the Shigan Finger Pistol is the real star of the show for the 4-cost event removal. That's why they're running 4 Shigans and only 2 Liberations, even though Liberation is searchable, because this fills up your trash as well. So very, very powerful. Okay, well that's about it for the Blackbeard list. And here's the thing, guys. You know, wasn't Blackbeard meant to stop the decks that are running Gecko Moria? Well, I think they were, but that ended up not happening in this case. And I think. So I did watch the match, and I'm not going to totally spoil it. In fact, I might commentate it for a future video this week, talk about the first place match. But until then, let me just say this, guys. Lucci's insane. Like, Lucci's absolutely cracked. It has so much synergy. If Blackbeard does not trash a card every turn and say you don't get your own play effects, well, guess what? It's going to get their Rebecca combos off. It's going to get their Gecko Moria combos off, their Lucci combos, their Sabos, whatever, Brook, whatever they might need. And Brook says on play. So even if you don't get the on play KO, it's like, hey, if you don't deal with this Brook, guess what's going to happen next turn? Win attack, I'm going to pop your dude. So there's so much going on there. They're running 4 Ice Ages, 4 of the Tempest Kicks, a single 6 King gun. Interesting. But hey, that card's just nice to have. Good utility card, 0 cost, 3k to trash some of these bigger cards in your hand later in the game if you need to. But guys, now how is this able to beat Blackbeard? Kaido plus Tempest Kick gets rid of Blackbeard, the 10 cost 12k character that Marshall D Teach, the 10 cost 12k character. So they had a direct answer to it built in. As long as they're filling up their trash by swinging with their leader every turn. Talking about Lucci, guess what? Nothing's safe. Nothing is safe. And it's one of those situations where this card, guys, in OP09, very, very strong. I mean, it's very strong, period, even in OP08. But, guys, this helps them play around the Blackbeard matchup. It helps them play around the Black-Yellow Luffy matchup because you're trashing the character. You're not KOing it. And it's just very strong, guys. And it makes them trash a card from hand, which is always really good. And then Jack is just sitting on the field being a total menace. Like, how do you deal with this Jack? He's just going to pop whatever you put down because it can pop a 4 or less with the leader's attack. Guys, this 789 character, you know, spread here is just insane. And then all the early stuff is just helping you get to the late game, like Rebecca, Sabo, 2K counters, Kaku, Brook. what a absolute, you know, incredible. This deck is made so well. It has to be said. I'm not saying there's no skill required. One Hina, by the way, that's very interesting. Maybe for combos later in the game with your Rebecca and your Rebecca plus Gecko Moria combos or something. Who knows? But anyway, you know, I'm not saying this is a no skill deck or anything. It's made brilliantly and it requires a lot of skill to pilot. But I have to say, you guys tell me what y'all think. But for me, this is bordering on the. I feel like this is bordering on the levels of. I don't want to say Sakazuki. People are going to get mad at me, but I just feel like it's a deck that just has every single answer against every single matchup. Not to say it can't lose. We know it can lose. It's just, yeah, it seems real strong. Seems real strong, guys. Y'all tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. Again, not trying to complain. Okay, we're done with that. That's it for the for this part of the video. Let me go ahead and move on to the games on the sim. Okay, so we have a game here of Green Blue Zonji versus Black Yellow Luffy. Okay, let me make sure the volume is off and the speed is on 2x, and we are good to go. So here we go, guys. Let me go ahead and hit play. So Green Blue Zonji, one of my absolute favorites, guys. I wish this leader had more direct support, like a Green Blue Straw Hat deck that was just geared for this leader, but it just doesn't right now. So you kind of have to move over to the 7 Warlord stuff. I did not swing 5 there because everyone hopefully knows what Black Yellow Luffy does by now. It's a very annoying leader to deal with. I probably should have swung 5, though, since they did Hiyori. I should have probably swung 5. So it looks like they're going to swing for 7 here with their leader, maybe even 9. Oh, they just pop it. Okay, yeah. So that's why I didn't swing for 5, right, guys? They just lost 2 life right there. That was crazy. I think they Thunderbolted my character. Swing for 7 at life. We'll take it. And my turn. So right here, now I can't even attack unless I want to spend too much Dawn for the turn. But I'm going to play out the Margaret, and then I think we're just going to pass the turn. I got to draw a card from Margaret, and it's a blocker. That is my 3-cost character. I wish there was a 2-cost character as good that could draw a card. But that's what I'm pulling back with Zoro. Okay, or just blocking with. Either one's fine with me. I was using Hina for a while, the Navy character, but that ended up being a little bit too janky in my opinion. So Gravity Blade, Raging Tiger. Get it out of here. Yeah, get that Sabo. And what was the other one he had? Hang on. Yeah, get the Luffy and the Sabo out of here. No, we're not playing that game today. So they swinging for 5. We 1K counter out. So 7 costs. Get him out of here. Okay, and then I'm going to pass the turn. You have 2 Dawn left. Your turn. We're just being a menace. I have another one in my hand, by the way. Another Gravity Blade, Raging Tiger in my hand. Whatever they play, it's just going bye-bye. Unless it's something that doesn't matter. Okay, so they are on their 8 Dawn turn. They're going to play out a Kuzan and a Perona. That's very annoying. Playing out Perona, guys. Very, very annoying. So I think I give them a 2K counter here. They're going to swing for 5. I can counter out of this, but I think I'm going to take it and kind of force them to try to get aggressive here. So here we go. I think this is a weird turn. Part of me wants the Gravity Blade. Like, I'm not going to, but part of me wants the Gravity Blade there. Okay, they still have two Dawn left. Okay, or excuse me, 2 life left, so they can't do any crazy tricks this turn with Gecko Moria. Okay, let's see what they do here. Excuse me. So I'm threatening lethal. Okay, well now I'm definitely threatening lethal. They're gonna have to go up to 7 or 9 9,000 power this turn. 7,000 power or 9,000 power this turn for sure. Okay, so they play that card out, attach 2, return 2. They're gonna have to trash a card from their hand. Okay, all right, so we're going to talk about that because it's just game over now, right? They're going to swing for 5. I think I should counter out of this if I don't. Let's see what happens. 1K counter. Yep. There's no blocker, guys. There's no blocker. So we're going to talk about this. He can swing all he wants to. Swing for 6. Yep. 2K, and now I'll take the 9K hit. Yep. Don't block. Just take the hit, and then we have well, actually, even if I do block out, we have calculated lethal. So pause. So we have calculated lethal here. They're only at 7,000 power, and we can swing for 7 5 times. They have no blocker. They have 2 life and 2 cards in hand. So here's how we would do that. With, what are we on? Let me see. Are we on, boom? Yeah, we're on 10 Dawn for the turn. So I can put 2 Dawn on my leader, 2 Dawn on Gecko Moria, 1 Dawn on Edward Weevil, and then 3 Dawn on Dracula Mihawk. Okay, that's only 8 Dawn. I'd have 2 Dawn left, so I could swing 9 for the final attack. But with that, so everything is set at 7, right? So here's how this would go. swing 7 with Gecko Moria, 7 with Edward Weevil, 7 with Mihawk, 7 with the leader, returning the Margaret, and swinging 9 with the Edward Weevil with the remaining 2 Dawn. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 attacks. So this is calculated lethal, and I think it does take me a second, because I was, like, when I was playing the game, I was like, wait a minute. They're only at 7,000 power. They don't have a blocker. Is this game just over? And the answer is yes. So I'm doing the math right now. I'm making sure I didn't screw it up or anything, but they ended up leaving before that. It was 100% calculated lethal, especially since one of the cards in their hand didn't have a counter. But even if both cards in their hand were 2K counters, it doesn't matter, because they only have 2 cards in hand, 2 cards in life, and I have 5 attacks that are going through. It's just simple math. GG. That was a good game, but there was no way out of that one. Okay, so that was Green Blue Zonji, one of my absolute favorite decks. I think that is a very... I wish the deck had more direct support, but it just doesn't yet. It just does not have enough direct support yet for me to really be happy with it, unless I'm playing it through the 7 Warlords engine. That's just me personally. You guys know what y'all think. All right, we got a game here of Arlong versus Kaido. Blurple Kaido. Okay. You don't see that very often. This is one of the lesser played leaders in the game for sure. I mean, Arlong's not exactly seen everywhere, but Blurple Kaido I feel like doesn't see much play at all. So, okay, we're going to swing for 7 with the leader, pop down the Kikinojo from the leader effect, and we've got this ball rolling fast. Right, this game is already off to the races. They use a 0-cost 3K, trashing a 9-cost Lin. So, okay, swinging 6 here. I take it. I say, hey, if it's a Land of Wano trigger, oh well. But if it's one of these triggers, I got another body on the board. And guys, I'll show the list afterwards. You guys know what I'm running with Arlong, right? It's just all triggers these days. So we're going to swing for 6. We're going to swing for 7. We're going to swing for 7. And we're going to cheat out a Neko Mamushi. I was going to say, I wouldn't do the Onami there. I guess I could have done Onami to try to get a card out of hand. Or, like, you know, just completely remove a card from the field. Or from their life, excuse me, guys, with Banish. But I'd rather just put the body on the board that can attack next turn. So 7 into 5, not happening. And he has no Dawn left to work with. The game's over, right? Like, try to survive from this. We're going to go 7s many, many times. Okay, there's a 0-cost 3K. We'll take it. We're going to go for 6 here. He gives me a 2K. Now we're going to go for 7. Then we're going to go for 8. They take it. And here we go. And right here, I think I'm debating, like, well, what do I want to cheat out? No, just swing for 8. And it turns out, if I had not swung for 8, they would have countered out, and I would have probably been in a little bit of trouble. I don't think I'd have lost the game, but that would have definitely put a, you know, that could have gotten ugly. But guys, that's green yellow Arlong for you. Winning on turn 4 against certain matchups. You know, if they don't see the pulls they need, if they don't see the removal they need, and if we see the triggers we need. I'll say this right now, guys. If you're playing against an Arlong and they get a pull like what I had there, where it was just like straight into Kikinojo and then Satori off the top, just don't even attack into the life. Just attack into the characters. Even if it gives me another life, like in the case of Kikinojo, would you rather me have 2 characters on the board, or would you rather me have an extra life? You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know. For me, I think that's what I would do. Let me just say it like that. Personally, I would make sure my characters are off the board as much as possible. Play towards the late game where you can drop down cards like Charlotte Linlin to gain your life back, or start dropping multiple queens to start getting a bunch of blockers, fixing your hand, and doing things that way. Okay, we got one more game, guys. We got a game of Kuro. We got a game of Kuro versus Vivi. And again, this isn't like a deep dive into these like off-meta leaders. I'm just trying to show off some fun games here. That's all this is. But here we go. Let's see what happens here. Excuse me. So we're going to swing in for 6 here. They give me a 2K counter. We're going to play out the Searcher Nami, and we're going to grab a Krieg, I think, maybe. Yep, we grabbed the Krieg. I've had a lot of people talk to me about Krieg, about my the list I did recently. Oh, gosh, what was it? Hang on, I got to pause. We got to pause and talk about it for a second. It was Perona. I put out a Perona list, and everyone's like, why aren't you running Krieg? Honestly, I didn't feel the need for it. I'm just going to be honest. It didn't feel necessary, because it didn't really feel necessary in my mind. And in the games I was playing, I feel like Perona was dealing with Dofi pretty well. But hey, I don't think it's a bad card. I don't think Krieg's a bad card at all. So if you want to run Krieg and Perona, by all means, guys, please do it. Please do it. Okay, back to the game. Going to play out Jin. We're going to lock down some characters here. Going to swing in for 6. I wasn't actually trying to get rid of those characters. I was trying to get rid of cards from hand because I couldn't do it anyway. And here we go. Let's see what they decide to do here. Okay, they're going to get to swing with Mihawk. Swing for 7. Draw 2, trash 2. Seems good. Okay, they trash a Shanks, and they trash a 0-cost event. Interesting. And I take that. I don't even counter out. I take it. I get Nami. It gives me Django. And now they're going to swing in for 7. They know I have a Krieg. I revealed it on the search. So this is the easiest turn of my life here, I think. We're going to swing for 5 into face. Let's see if they give any counters. No counters. 6 into face. Going to play out Krieg, trashing. Probably the either Butchie or the other one there. Is his name like... I can't even see it, guys. It looks like Sham from here. I can't see it. These are characters I don't play with very often, guys. So they play out a Boa, and guess what? It can't bottom deck any of my searchers because they're 2-cost 3Ks in this deck. They're not 1-cost. But okay, they do stop my Krieg from attacking. They attack into my Jin, get rid of that. And now we're going to swing for 9 at face. I'm just trying to keep the pressure on, guys. That's all we're doing here. Play out the Django, 9 again. It's like, okay, hey, if I can't block out of, or if I can't swing with my Krieg, we're going to smash face with the leader here. Their turn. I've got a very good setup. They're going to have to Gravity Blade here, to be honest, guys, if they have it, if they even have Gravity Blade in their hand. That's what they need. They need a Gravity Blade here, or this could get very ugly. They swing it for 8. I'm going to play out the Hachan. Okay, that was the second best thing they could have gotten was a Rayleigh for sure. Because Rayleigh, number one, they gave it rush and everything. And nice, we got another Searcher Nami. You love to see it. But I think the Gravity Blade was like their best bet here. Gravity Blade is so strong, guys. Gravity Blade is so good because it just gets rid of those 2 characters that I have left on the board. Okay, so right here, we're going to swing for 5. Let's see if they want to counter out. I think this is one they should have taken. Well, okay, since they took that, we're going to swing for 9,000 double attack. Okay, let's see what they want to do now. Now we're going to swing for 7. And I have 3 Dawn left, guys. I have 3 Dawn active. Who knows what I might do with this, right? Yep, rest of these 2 characters, stand my guy 7 more. And your turn, I have 2 very relevant bodies on the board. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 8,000 power in counter in hand. And I have a 7,000 body on the board. My leader... Okay, what just happened there? They Gravity Blade. Was that... Okay, excuse me. I missed something, guys. Hang on one second. So, yeah, when I attacked in for this last hit for 7, that was a Gravity Blade, so the trigger was allowed to get rid of the Hachan. Okay, well, this turn here, I think they should be going everything into my Krieg, to be honest. Well, I don't know. They still have to develop a blocker where I'm swinging 15 at face. You know, or even better. If I don't do 15 at face, I might actually go like, what would it be? 12 twice. You know, with the leader effect. Okay, let's see what they decide to do here. And that's, of course, if I can keep two East Blue characters alive. They're deep in the tank here. I'm not exactly sure what they're trying to do, but I have 8,000 counter power. Guys, I have 2 life. They have nothing on the board. Like, no blocker, no life. What are they going to do here? I have no idea. Your guess is as good as mine. I guess, okay, so if I were playing Vivi here while we're waiting for them to attack, I would have gone 9 into my Krieg. I would have gone 9 into Krieg, and then we get a Kurobi tapping down the guy, and that is game over. So let's see what they had in their hand. Okay, now I'm going to tell you what I would have done, and it would not have involved attacking in the face, by the way. Well, okay, yeah, see, they actually have to go for lethal, because number one, they don't have enough counter power to get out of a 15k attack, much less a double 12k attack, but I guess they had to go for lethal there. So it was going to be swing 9, and then they had 8 Dawn left. They could have played out a Weevil, and then they would have had, that would have been 4 Dawn, 2 Dawn to give him rush, 2 Dawn on him. It'd have been swing 9, swing 8. So I think they should have just done swing 8, swing 9, and then swing 9 with the Weevil as a surprise attack. But I was getting out of it every time. Even without that ridiculous trigger that I just got. Like, don't even count the trigger. Number one, that would have been a 1k counter in my hand and a 2k counter from my life. There was just no way we were losing that game. Okay, that was a lot of fun, guys. Let's go ahead and check out the deck lists real quick. We'll go in order. So we did Zonji. I am running a version of Zonji right now that I'm not, like, head over heels in love with, but it is at least it's at least decent. So I'm pretty sure this is the list we were running. I think it was. Yeah, there's the Dracula me. Oh yeah, let me move my face real quick, guys. I'm pretty sure this is the list we were running, and if it wasn't, it was something very similar to this. But it's just a 7 Warlords package, guys, with a little tiny bit of like Minx support over here from Carrot and Neko Mamushi. Dracula Mihawk, great 2k counter, searchable by 7 Warlords, stuff like Sengoku, and then the finisher, Hody Jones. Just, you know, kind of speaks for itself. I will say eventually I do want to start messing around with this card from Blue right here in OP09, this Dracula Mihawk here. It's not searchable by 7 Warlords, which I absolutely hate. but it is what it is. It's not the end of the world either. But I do think there's some argument to try this card out. You know, 6 cost, 7,000 power blocker, draw 2, trash 1 on play. So you get this card down, and then you can attack for 7 with it, attack for your turn with all your other stuff, stand him up with your leader, and now you have a blocker, a 7,000 power blocker on defense. And then when you do have to go for game, this guy requires no Dawn investment. He's swinging for 7, which is just literally perfect with the leader effect. Pause and read this if you don't know what it does. Okay, so really good stuff there. Let's go ahead and hop over to the Arlong deck. That one, let me see. Did I call it? Is this the one we were trying out? Let me see something. I don't know if I was running the OP09 version or not, but I don't think it changes much. I'll just show you guys. We'll just look at this one, guys, for what it's worth. No, see, hang on. I'm pretty sure I was running, hang on. Arlong wrong for this one. That's the name of the deck. Arlong wrong for this one. Yeah. Okay. This is the list I was running today. Because I was going to say, I know I was running Nami's. That's what made me want to look for it. I am running the Nami in the list now. I know you cannot cheat it out with your leader effect, but who cares? It's just a strong card. I mean, it's just simply a strong card. At the end of the day, it's a 1K counter. And look at this, guys. Every card in the deck now has a trigger on it. So one other thing we could do potentially is we could go down 1 Nami and up 1 Killer, and down another Nami and up 1 Bonnie. There are options like that we can mess around with for the cards that are like not the perfect 4-cost targets for the deck. But, you know, it's an option. This deck, guys, could just sneak wins on anybody. If people don't know what to expect, guys, this deck can sneak a win on, like, anyone. One other card I do want to point to in here, other than Nami, if you don't really like Nami in here, the Seraphim card, S-Snake. This card, guys, this one's pretty good, too. I like Nami better, personally, even though you have to trash a card for the effect. It's KOing a character. It's just like, you know what, get that character out of here. So if it has, like, an activate main or some type of, like, you know, on-board effect, not on play, but, like, an effect on the board, with this card, you know, this card just says they're gone. That card's out of there. Whereas, like, the Seraphim, or, excuse me, S-Snake, just says they can't attack for the turn. So I do kind of like Nami a little bit better. However, I do understand if people want to try this card out as well. I think this one's very good as well. Okay, all right, and then the last one, let's go ahead and check out Kuro. All right, I have absolutely nothing good to say about this list, guys. It needs, I named it Cujo. This list is not incredible, just period, at all. It needs help. I think this leader needs support. I think this leader needs support. This leader needs support, guys. So it's not bad. It's just not great. You know, it's not good. It can sneak wins, okay, like we saw, but that was against Red Blue Vivi. You can't really take too much out of that game. That wasn't exactly a top meta deck. I'm not saying it can't sneak a win on top decks, but it's very unlikely. I'll say that. I will say that. I think the leader needs more support with its effect, like some type of East Blue characters that cannot be removed from play, even if they're really crappy characters, like what we saw with Buggy. So this is the card that I was talking about earlier when we were talking about Buggy. There's a blue card that just came out recently. Actually, excuse me, I think it's a 7-cost character. This character right here. Pause and read this if you have not seen it. Spoiler warning, this is a promo from OP09. But this card right here, guys, look at this. If your leader is Buggy, all cost 3 and 4 characters cannot attack. If they gave a card like this to Kuro, and by the way, on play, this leader cannot attack either, by the way, guys. Or excuse me, this character cannot attack either. But on play, you can play up to 1 cost 6 or lower character with cross-guild type characters from your hand. If they would give Green a character similar to this, maybe a 5-cost character, almost like Django, where like, well, not like Django, I guess, but like a character like this, but 5 costs like Django, that could not attack but could cheat out an East Blue character and then made it where certain characters could not attack for the turn. That's something I feel like Kuro really needs right now. That's just me. But like, because the thing is this, like, okay, if I'm going to make the deck hyper aggressive and play cards like Alvida, and then I think I'm running the 2-cost guy as well. Yeah, 2-cost 4K Momu, or Momu, whatever his name is. I want to attack with these. Like, I'm paying for them. I want to attack with them too. Well, if you want the full effect from the leader, you're not really doing that. You know what I mean? I don't know. You guys know what y'all think in the comment section below. All right, I'm done. I'm done ranting and raving here. Again, tell me what y'all think about everything in this video, guys, especially the tier list from the East. All right, big shout out to everybody who supports the channel, guys. All the VV Pirates playmat supporters, thank you guys so much. for supporting the channel in the ways y'all do, for buying the playmat. I hope you guys are enjoying that. To everybody who supports the channel, guys, whether you're liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, viewing, whatever you're doing, guys, to help out the channel, thank you so much. And, of course, last but not least, to the patrons, thank you guys so much as well. I really do appreciate it. You guys are just doing whatever you can to make sure the channel succeeds. You guys are absolutely incredible. Okay, all right. So that's it. Please do not forget to like and subscribe if you have not already. If you have any comments, questions, suggestions, or anything like that, please do not hesitate to put those down in the comment section below. I try to answer those as quickly as I can. I'm still trying to answer everything that comes in, guys. It gets hard on me, but I still want to be able to answer people who have questions. Okay? All right, that's it. I'm done. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please do not forget to like and subscribe. Until next time, guys. Peace.